story out of Minnesota tonight. A Minnesota man is in jail on pending charges of arson, attempted murder after a New Year's Day house fire. The Beltrami County Sheriff's Office says it happened around 8:30 last night in Northern Township, just north of Bemidji. Deputies and firefighters found flames and heavy smoke when they arrived. All of the people living in the home were able to get out safely, but investigators say one of them was acting strangely. After further investigation, 20-year-old Damian Smith of Bemidji was arrested. Charges of arson, attempted murder, and obstruction of justice have been sent to the Beltrami County Attorney's Office for review. The Beltrami County Sheriff's Office and the State Fire Marshal are still investigating. A home in Otter Tail County, Minnesota is a total loss after a fire that's believed to have started in the chimney. It happened yesterday at a home on Rush Lake, which is just south of Perham. The homeowner called 911 to report it. He and a friend got out of the house safely and managed to get a few items out of the attached garage with help from a neighbor. When crews arrived, they could see flames along the roof line of the house near the fireplace chimney. Investigators believe that's where the fire started. There were no injuries. Pretty exciting that we climbed into the double digits today. It felt good, but tonight is a different story. Hutch, what's going on?
Well, we've had a little cool front push through the region, and that's what brought us some light snow bands working into the evening. This will continue to track southward, but north winds will be gusty all night as temperatures will return to sub-zero values. That'll make for dangerous wind chills in many locations. Wind chill advisories for the purple counties you see there. Temperatures holding in the single digits above zero north, teens south, and we're all on our way down as we head toward the dark hours tonight. Take a look at this. Wind chills in the teens below up north. It's going to be pretty brisk out there, so you'll want to bundle up as we go through the overnight. So we're going to enjoy what's left of this short-lived warm-up. It will still be fairly nice early evening, but once we get to the overnight hours, we'll get a little brisk out there once again. How long does this cold air last? I'll have details on that, and we'll look toward the weekend ahead here in a moment.
Hey, we had one day.
It's a start.
We're grateful, yeah.
Yes, we're on a roll.
Yeah, thank you. And just another reminder to take it easy on the roads. It's a cold day to end up in a ditch. Sergeant Jesse Grabo with the Minnesota State Patrol tweeted out this photo this morning. Grabo says the rollover happened on Highway 10 near Audubon. He says the driver was not hurt, but it serves as a good reminder to always buckle up. Al Franken is serving his last day as a U.S. Senator. His resignation was expected to be made official today. It comes nearly a month after he announced his plans to leave Congress after sexual misconduct allegations that began in November. Franken's resignation sets the stage for current Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith to be sworn in tomorrow morning. Smith plans to run for the seat in a special election in November. Former GOP Congresswoman and presidential candidate Michelle Bachmann has also said she's considering running for Franken's seat. Will he or won't he run for the Senate? That's the big question for North Dakota Congressman Kevin Cramer. President Trump is urging Cramer to go after Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp's seat. Our Washington Bureau's Kyle Madura spoke with Cramer immediately following his meeting with the president at the White House today.
Sir, just wrapped up your meeting. Do you have a decision?
I don't have a decision today, but it was certainly a persuasive case that the president made. Yeah, for sure. And I appreciated the time, and I appreciated the thoughtfulness, and appreciate his knowledge of North Dakota.
That personal appeal, was it towards you or directed towards your family?
Yes, it was. It was probably aimed more at my family than it was at me. I mean, the president and I have talked about it before. We've been talking about it for over a year, but yeah, I think he was making the patriotic case to Chris and to our son Abel.
It has sounded in recent weeks like you're leaning toward running. Is that the case, and did this get you closer?
So I think it's fair to say that my mindset and my decision making has been trending more that way, and certainly today's meeting would certainly steer more toward a positive answer. But I'm not to the point where I'm settled in my own heart and mind, and that's going to require Chris and me sitting down and both feeling it together and like I say, she has veto power over a yes, but we both have to come to a yes for me to say yes.
Obviously, your decision will dictate to others in the party whether they run either for your seat or for this seat in the Senate, the challenge, I should say, in the Senate. When will we have a decision?
Yeah, that's a great point, and this is why I want to be fair to that process, because there are other people looking at either the Senate race or an open house seat should I run for the Senate. And I would expect sometime by the end of either January or early February, I'll make a decision. I'll make it a public decision whether it's a yes or a no, and give people plenty of time to prepare for a convention and primary and all those things.
That was our Washington correspondent Kyle Maduro reporting from the White House. Kyle is following this story and will have a full wrap-up along with expert analysis tonight on Valley News Live at 9 on Fargo CW and Valley News Live at 10. Longtime Utah Republican Senator Orrin Hatch is opening up another spot in the Senate in next year's elections after announcing his plans to retire at the end of his term. The 83-year-old Hatch made the announcement in a video posted this afternoon. Hatch is the longest-serving Republican in the Senate and chairs the powerful Senate Finance Committee. He was a major force in getting a tax overhaul through Congress and signed into law in December. Former GOP presidential nominee Mitt Romney is said to be eyeing a bid for the seat, among other challengers. The U.S. is adopting a wait-and-see attitude after getting word of a possible thaw in relations between North and South Korea. CBS's Weijia Zhang reports from the White House.
South Korea is proposing talks with North Korea, possibly as soon as next week. The meeting would take place in a border village the two countries share. The offer came after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said he was open to sending a delegation to next month's Winter Olympics in South Korea. The White House is reacting cautiously to news of a possible sit-down.
We've been very clear about the fact of what our priority is, and that's a denuclearized peninsula, and there's nothing new to update on that front.
Earlier in the day, President Trump weighed in on Twitter, writing, "Sanctions and other pressures are beginning to have a big impact on North Korea. Rocket Man now wants to talk to South Korea for first time. Perhaps that is good news, perhaps not. We will see." The White House says its official position has not changed. The U.S. will not negotiate with North Korea unless Pyongyang is willing to end its nuclear weapons program. Kim Jong-un has repeatedly said that's not an option. In fact, the North has resumed missile activity, appearing to be in the early stages of another launch.
North Korea can talk with anyone they want, but the U.S. is not going to recognize it or acknowledge it until they agree to ban the nuclear weapons that they have.
Pyongyang has yet to respond to South Korea's offer. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the White House.
The Winter Olympics will get underway in South Korea on February 9th. The Games will close on the 25th. At least 21 people have died. Hundreds have been arrested in the ongoing anti-government protests in Iran. The protests began this past Thursday over the country's weak economy, government corruption, and a surge in food prices, and have since expanded to several cities. Iran State TV reports that armed protesters tried to take over some police stations and military bases, but faced serious resistance from security forces. The Trump administration is supporting the protesters and encouraging other countries to do the same. It's calling on the Iran government to stop blocking social media sites that help people communicate there. It's considering additional sanctions against Iran over human rights concerns related to the protests.